Hello everyone, and welcome to Tutorials with Allison. In today's episode, we will be speaking in alliteration while perfectly procuring purple seeds from pearless pomegranates. Here are the things you will need for this tutorial. A bowl, preferably a very big bowl. A knife, preferably a very sharp knife. And a pomegranate, the most perfectly pomegranate you can find. I think I'm going to select this pomegranate because it's very dark, and for some reason I think that means it's good, even though I have no idea. That's that. Now, let's get started with what your environment should look like when cutting a pomegranate. One thing, the most important thing probably to consider is that you're not wearing white. So I have chosen to wear red, and that's what you should do as well. Or like black, or something that you don't mind looking bloody by the end of it. You should also make sure that your surface is something that can handle pomegranate juice, which mine is. So find something like mine. Alright, the first step is going to be to fill your bowl with water. The water is going to help prevent the juice from splattering everywhere, and it's also just gonna, I need to speak in alliteration. It will provide it will subsist, sirs, with a starting situation for preparation. Okay. Alright, so the first step is going to be cutting off the top and the bottom of the pomegranate. This is just going to give us a way in, kind of. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off the top. And don't go too deep because you're going to see like seeds in there. And you're probably inevitably going to cut through some of them, but like ideally you get above the top layer of seeds. So I'm just going to cut through all that. And now it looks kind of like this. And you can, well, I'll do the bottom first. So now we can kind of have access to the seed layer, and this is important because see how there's like kind of gaps in between where the seeds are, the pockets of seeds. So our next step is going to be actually slicing lines through those gaps, because it's kind of like just pockets of these seeds with white areas surrounding it. So I'm just going to find those areas and then slice through them so that it'll be easier to pull it apart. So that was a good place to start. When I was thinking of what to say in the video, I had a lot of alliteration prepared, and it happened very naturally. But as I film, it is all escaping me. So please forgive my boringness. You can see why you should not wear white. Okay, so now I have scored, that was fancy, all the edges. And now it should be really easy to just pull apart at these lines. It should be really easy to pull apart at these lines and reveal pomegranate seeds. So I'm just gonna prepare a few more of these. Cool. And now is where your bowl is gonna come in. So I'm gonna get some of this out of the way. And now just use these parts. Keep them all here. And then all these seeds that just fell out, I'm gonna put them right in my bowl. All right. So now each one of these kind of slices that I took, I'm just gonna now take them one by one and gradually just get the seeds off of them and into the bowl. And it doesn't have to be perfect because there's a way to get rid of those white parts after. But yeah, so the bowl helps because if you put inevitably you're gonna squish some and the juice is gonna fly everywhere, unless you're a professional like me, of course. So the bowl helps to not have, so when you splatter it, it just splatters within the water instead of getting all over your shirt. But yeah, so you just do this until you're done, especially if you're a perfectionist. You're gonna watch me do it. Maybe I'll speed it up to test out my editing skills. But this is the part where I will rave over why this is the best fruit in the world. It's just so wonderful. It's just the best. It tastes great. You get like, I don't know, I'm not gonna rave about the health benefits. I should speak louder. It's just great because it's definitely worth the effort because it tastes good. I feel like I like the tanginess of it, and I like that it takes so long to eat. Like you sit there with a bowl of pomegranate and you can eat it. It takes like, no matter how fast you want to eat it, it takes like an hour. And it's just nice to it's like popcorn, just sit there and eat pomegranate. Because I usually eat it like one seed at a time. Or a couple at a time, but not too much at a time. So I don't know, I just like being able to sit there and eat pomegranate. It's fantastic. It tastes great. Like I said, it's very tart. And I just like the ritual of getting all the seeds out. And like it starts out all ugly, and then even in the bowl, as you can see, there's like white stuff everywhere, but then you just go through it and it turns out amazing, as you'll see at the end. I don't know, just a nice test of patience. You get to feel proud of yourself. Like I did something unstimulating today, and I got a nice fruit reward from it. And it's only available in the winter, so get yours today and watch the tutorial. It's like a limited edition fruit from like I think October to January. So take your time with this. I'm a professional, so I'm going quite quickly, but in order to reduce splatter, you may have to go a little slower, and that's okay. It's like a scavenger hunt, like a game of hide and seek, or rather. It's just beautiful. It's an amazing fruit. I tear up just thinking about it. And usually when it gets to be kind of bad, I don't know. These are usually kind of bad pieces, the ones that kind of turn brown and are kind of squishy. I'm gonna leave it in because I don't mind too much, but if you're gonna take a first bite of pomegranate and let it decide your entire opinion, I recommend you take one like this, which is like nice and big and bloody hands. It's nice and big and it's kind of dark red. I find that those are quite good. I feel like it's just based on my experience, dark red is usually kind of sweet, and if it's more on the whiter side, I believe I have had a sweet white kind of one, but for the most part I feel like those are more sour. So this is the kind of thing you gotta master your own technique with it. So your your technique does not need to look like mine. So play around and figure out what works for you. Opening a pomegranate is a very personal process. You need to develop a connection with the pomegranate, and this cannot happen through mere instruction. Please remember that. Be one with the pomegranate. Your treatment of the pomegranate is your treatment of yourself. Be patient. Do not burst your juices by pressing too hard. With patience, you will have a bowl of fruit. Brilliant. Alright, so your next step is going to be just cleaning up your area, because it's not going to be too messy from now on. So I'm just going to put this, if you're better than me, you'd probably compost it. I'm not really sure. We don't really do that here. So I threw it away. I'll compost the landfill. Done with a knife as well. And then usually I go over my counter with a paper towel before I go over it with cloth because of the juices. All right, let's go. All right, now we are on to stage 2 of opening a pomegranate. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub my hands through the pomegranate in order to separate the white parts that are attached. I'll show you one. So a lot of times you'll see that these white parts here are still attached to the pomegranate. So it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can eat this, it's not going to harm you. But I just like to rub my hands through it like this to kind of separate it the best I can. Alright, so the great thing about pomegranate is that the white parts that you're not supposed to, well, ideally you don't eat it, but it's okay if you eat it. Those parts float to the top. So this is another reason why we put this in water, because the pomegranate seeds sink. Sometimes you have to help it sink, but it will sink. And the white parts float. So what you can do is fill it with water and then kind of just pour it out, and the white parts off the top will just glide out. And I like to do this a few times. Be gentle but firm. And usually I just do it until I can pick up a bunch of pomegranates and not really see any white things. That's a good, like if you can get a handful and they all look pretty clean, it should be good. because it doesn't have to be perfect. Just like you. Alright. So I'm just gonna rub my hand through it a little like this. You can see. And then I feel like this will just get the white stuff to the top. Kind of gently just forcing everything to mix around a bit. Yeah, it's definitely doing the trick. I'm gonna try again to pour it out. And you can just do some quality control. I think I'll do it one more time. There we go. It's a lot. You can kind of help the white parts out like this. You put a tiny bit more water in. Do this a little bit again because I can just see some that haven't been. So we're on this side. Oh, and also if the red parts are floating, just like kind of tap them and they'll fall down and they'll stay down. All right. There we go. It's good for the most part. You don't have to be as perfectionistic about this as me. Alrighty, so now I'm just gonna get the rest of the water out. Sometimes I drop a few. And now I have a wonderful thing, perfectly prepared pink pomegranate. So as you can see, it is amazing. So now you can just eat this. Some people eat it with spoons. I like to just eat it kind of one at a time like this. It's fantastic. And another thing is when you're eating it, so I'll show you the inside. So once you kind of eat some of the juice, this is what it looks like inside. And some people choose not to eat it, but I usually just eat the full thing. And that's like if you want, I don't know, if you want like high fiber or something, this is definitely the part you should be eating. So yeah, eat that. I recommend eating it. It gives it a nice crunch, and it really pulls the entire dish together because it's essentially like a pocket of juice with just that middle part. So some people just like drink the juice kind of and then spit out the middle part, but like, I don't know. You're watching my tutorial and my expert advice is to eat the whole thing. So thank you for watching Allison's tutorial, kitchen edition, pomegranate edition. Please like and subscribe and eat all the pomegranates you can before they're out of season. Goodbye.